guys, today we are back with a very special video. This is the Carnival Glory recap / review, our formal review of the ship. Now, you guys know the Carnival Glory Cruise Vlogs just ended, and we wanted to give you guys our formal review on what we thought of the ship. We have a list here. We have typed it down of some bad things, 3 bad things that we thought, 3 meh or okay things that we thought about the ship, and then 3 good things, 3 really nice positive things, stuff that we enjoyed, our top list, okay? So we're gonna go through that list with you. I am here with my wonderful father who went with me on this cruise vacation. We had so much fun. I'm trying to get him to go again with me soon. But we do have this list that we're going to go through, and we're going to start out with the bad things, okay? We'll get the bad out of the way, the stuff that we did not like for this cruise vacation. Now, just a little side note, actually, before we get started with that. Everybody wanted to know where in the world he was, because he was not as present in the videos as Mama Hokum, who is right behind the camera, is. I will go ahead and tell you that he was not hiding from the camera. He was not out doing it. Well, sometimes he was out doing his own thing, and like we just, you know, I did my thing, he did his thing. But what it all came down to, guys, is actually, if you watched really closely, you could see it. He was super, super sick. Like, the entire cruise, he was super, super sick in the room. So, like in the evenings when I would go to the shows, that's why he was with me, because he had went back to the room and taken cold medicine and like laid down to try and feel better for the next day. Yeah, really, like that was him. And I think like 1 or 2 shots, you actually see him in the background if you go look, so you have to go back and watch that. But that's where he was. He was not avoiding the camera. He wasn't like, oh, you guys are thinking, oh, he doesn't want to be in the, no, like literally, he wasn't in the videos, because if he was, it would have been like him like sneezing and coughing and just like, you know, stuff that you don't really want to watch.
I was taking cough medicine and cold medicine in the evening so I could actually enjoy the daytime with him on our excursions and things.
So that's where he was. So go ahead and put that out there. We'll put that to rest, okay? So if we go on one again, he will definitely be more present, guys, pending he doesn't get sick again.
He's going to be on in September. That's true,
that's true. He will be on the Pride in September. We still have to do a formal video about that. Here are, let's start with the list of bad things. These are 3 bad things that we did not like about the Carnival Glory. Now, one of them is very us specific, and the first one being what, Dad?
We had a broken sink. It wasn't really broken. It was just the pipes were not tightened down when they put them together, so every time we would use the sink, the water would drain out underneath the sink and into the floor, and we had to end up using our trash can to catch it.
So what happened actually is when we got on the ship, like we get to our room, and like the little stopper, like the plug that makes it so the bowl can fill up, it was stuck down. Like you would press the little lever and it wouldn't raise up. So we called maintenance and it was like, hey, can you come fix this? They came in, I guess, while we were at muster drill, and he took the plug out. Well, but when they did that, they didn't tighten the pipes down below, so that every time you use the sink, water would just run out under our sink. And it took them 2 days to fix it. Now, that, you know, in my opinion, that should have been fixed, like we call maintenance, they're there in, you know, an hour.
They just forgot to tighten the nut back and put the pipe back together.
Right. Number 2 for the bad things, Dad.
When we first got there, the pool was this beautiful shade of green. Should not have been, should have been clear, but it was a beautiful shade of green.
Yeah, the back pool, so the aft pool, the entire week really, I think the last night it was clear, but literally the entire week, the aft pool was like the nastiest color green, like algae, gross, you don't want to be in it green,
it was like
right?
Frog pond green.
Right. And that was really actually bad because they didn't have the water park open on our sailing, so there was only 1 water feature available on the entire ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was supposed to be 2 pools available since the water park, but the aft one, like, nobody went in that thing because it was gross, and half the time it was closed down. So that was, again, you know, like, come on now, let's figure out why the pool's green and fix it, you know? So that was the second bad thing. The last bad thing, like out of everything that was on the ship, and this one is really not a bad thing. Number 3, Dad?
It turned out to be more of an annoying thing.
Right.
It seemed like there was an announcement every 5 minutes. It's like, we're turning left, we're pulling out. The elevators are open. The food bar's open. It's every 5 minutes.
Okay, so Eric Broman was the cruise director, and he really is a good cruise director.
He has a very outgoing personality.
Yeah, he's a really funny guy. Like, he's a magician. The thing is, though, is it seemed like every time he had a show, an event, he was hosting something on deck, you know, wherever it was, there was literally an announcement 2 minutes before the event and like 2 minutes after. Like, he would get off stage, and before I could make it back to my room, and we were on deck 7 theater, we would always go to deck 5. So 2 decks down. So what is that? 4 flights of steps total? Yeah. 4 flights of steps. Yeah. Before I would make it back to the room, he's on the intercom telling about the show.
Yeah, it's like he leaves Lido deck, and he's walking down the hallway going, hey, we just left Lido deck, and this is da-da-da.
He bolts straight to his room and makes an announcement. You know, like, some of that was unnecessary, and by the end of the cruise, it was like, okay, dude, like, we get it, you know. Like, but fantastic cruise director. A little edgy at times, too. We won't get into all of that, but...
and that may be some people's cup of tea. It may not be.
Right. Again, you know, you may think, oh, man, I want, you know, announcements every 5 minutes. For us, it would be nice to have a couple announcements throughout the day. Maybe, you know, like a morning, like 10:30-ish, and then like an afternoon, and then evening, maybe announcing the evening activities. But I don't need an announcement every time you've got an activity, you know? So, that is the bad things. Now going on to meh things, and we've got an asterisk in there in between bad and meh. On our sailing, I did mention the water park was closed, so our sailing was the immediate sailing after the dry dock. So the water park was constructed, just was not open. You know, like they were still putting the piping and the plumbing and all that stuff. So, yes, it was a disappointment not to be able to use it, and the fact that we weren't told about it until like 3 or 4 weeks before sailing. You know, like when we booked, we were not told about it. It was a little let down, but... what are you going to do? You know, we made the best out of it. We had a great time on the ship.
On their behalf, they are taking the extra time to make sure that it's 100% safe.
Right,
rather than pushing the opening date and then someone getting hurt.
And someone getting
hurt. So
that
is to their credit.
I think it did end up leaking, right, Mom? Like
the week after it flooded.
The week after it opened, it flooded anyway. So, you know, maybe they did rush a little too much. So, that's just kind of like you know, whatever. It would have been nice to have it. We weren't too upset because we couldn't use it, but I'm sure, you know, a family like with small children, that would have been a real letdown to them. Now, on to the meh things. So these are okay. It wasn't like the greatest thing on the ship. It wasn't the worst thing. Number 1 on the meh thing, Dad.
The staff members, some of them, when we had the muster, they were somewhat rude in the respect of, you know, there's one of the gentlemen looked and, get back behind the line. Stand up, pay attention. You know, he was very rude.
Yeah, very forceful. And I understand that this is a safety, you know, like briefing, safety time thing. But this guy was the maitre d', first of all. So, I mean, and he sure did exploit that title, if you know what I mean. But these people are paying to go on vacation, and for them to have 1 foot, you know, 3 inches over this painted yellow line on the floor, I don't see why that caused for him to dart out at this woman and basically attack her verbally. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been worded a whole lot nicer. His body language could have been more professional. So on that, you know, maybe he was just having a bad day. You know, everybody's human, whatever. So that was number 1 for the meh things. Number 2 for meh.
The Lido deck buffet options could have been a greater variety. It was like they had 3 or 4 different selections, and that was it.
Right, yeah. I specifically remember the day in Cozumel where I went and got the seafood shack, and he had planned, he went back there, looked at the menu, he just wasn't really feeling seafood that day, so he said he'll go get something on Lido. Well, he went to Lido for lunch, and I think they had like some roast beef and like some, I mean, just very basic stuff. So he ended up going out and getting a Guy's Burger. Thank goodness for Guy's Burgers. Lido buffet was a little limited. So finally, number 3 on the meh things, Dad, is?
It is the Daytime Entertainment Fun Squad. The entertainment during the daytime is very limited.
Right.
Previous cruises we've taken, they've had family game night, they've had bingo, they've had, you know, scavenger hunts and all this, and it was very limited this time.
Yeah, or the timing was very, very poor with it. So I remember they did have a digital scavenger hunt, but I want to say it was on the Cozumel like day, and it was at like 2 o'clock. Like a day when or a time when everybody is going to be off the ship, you know, like, but then on like the last day, there was like literally nothing. Like, you know, the morning stretch and that kind of thing. But I'm talking like entertainment activities. I think the first thing on the last sea day was the ice carving at 11, I want to say. So like, you could add the scavenger hunt at like 10, you know what I'm saying? So, and then also the fun squad was just not as visible on this ship. So, deck party wise, we had the sail away party, that one's a given, but then like we only had the mega deck party. Like there was no like Blue Iguana versus Red Frog deck party, there was no 80s deck party. Like, so we didn't have a whole lot of like deck parties, there wasn't a whole lot of show. I mean, there was the nightly playlist production shows, but beyond that, like there wasn't a whole lot of games. So it was just very limited onboard entertainment, I felt like. The DJ, we only saw him twice, the first sea day and the last sea day. Other than that, I had no clue where that guy was for the other.
Who was the DJ?
Yeah, well his name was DJ. Was it DJ Renzo, I want to say? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know who it was. That's how limited we saw him.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see him at all. So, I mean, that's just kind of a mad thing. More visibility would be really nice. So, now we're on to the good things. So, the things that the things that made us do that. The first one being, Dad.
The first one is the food in the dining hall was superb. From the swordfish to the prime rib to the steaks, and
guys, it really was I don't think we had a bad meal. Now, we just told you that Lido didn't have a lot of options, but I'm saying what there was really, really like stinking good, okay? Like the bread in the dining room, normally on Carnival ships, the bread is always hard. I don't know what kind of bread it is, and I think it's mint.
It's little
it's like
dinner roll.
Yeah, they brought that bread out, and I literally like could stick my finger through it, no problem if I wanted to. Like that's gross. Don't
melted the butter,
but yeah, and it had butter on it. It was soft. It was so good. The food on the Glory was absolutely excellent. Everything that we ate, I really don't think we had a bad meal.
No, even the frog legs were hopping good. I mean,
So the food was really, really good on the Glory, like some of the best food, almost comparable to the Breeze. The Breeze has had the best Carnival food we've ever eaten. The Glory is probably right up there with it. So
yes.
that was number one for the really good things that we like. Number two, Daddy?
Number two, the entertainment in the comedy club, the Punchliner Comedy Club. Most of the time, you're packed in like sardines.
Right.
This time, it's like they had knocked out a wall or something, and the Punchliner, it was more spacious.
It was so huge.
The acoustics were better.
It honestly is probably almost the size of like the lower level of the main theater. Probably, well, at least up until the the second floor balconies. At least up until there. Like it is huge. I don't know why Carnival has made it so much smaller, and it was packed too. Like even though it was huge, it was still packed. There were not open seats in there. Like everybody was pretty much, all the seats were full.
But it didn't feel like you were jammed in.
Right. You weren't like squished so close to somebody that you couldn't, sit comfortable. It was packed but comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Like the Vista.
Huh?
Like the Vista.
No, the Vista
packed in sardines like the Vista.
Oh yeah, the Vista was packed in like sardines. Like literally, the Vista was so packed that my knees were touching the chair in front of me. Like that's how close the chairs were. It was not good on the Vista. Carnival knows about it. Nobody go email like the big higher ups at Carnival and telling them, oh my gosh, Josh said the Vista. They already know about it, okay? So number three on the good things. Last one.
Number three is the disembarkation process this time was super easy. Now, they did have some long lines when you got out of the elevator and all that, but still yet they moved very quickly.
Right.
But our embarkation was 10 minutes? And we were
if even, really. I mean, so the scheduled time seems to be really working with Carnival. I was really skeptical about it at first. I was like, this is going to cause a whole bunch of confusion. Like, nobody's going to show up at their time. We got we got to the port, I want to say at 12:30-ish, and our check-in time was 1 o'clock. I feel like we were on board by 1 o'clock.
We were eating the barbecue by 12:30, 12:40.
No, we got at the port at 12:30. Maybe like 12:50, 1 o'clock. We were eating the barbecue, but like super fast. Now, and this is not one of the ships that did the cabin keys, like outside your door in your mailbox. We collected our cabin keys inside the terminal and then went on to the ship. So like that was not one of those, like the Vista I think does that, and the Splendor I want to say does that. That was not one of those ships. So it was really fast. And then disembarkation, like he said, coming out of the elevator, so we rode down the glass elevators. If you watch the vlog, you'll see all those people that were crowded around the elevators. I do think that system could be fixed a little, maybe a little more structure, like some queue lines or something in there.
Yeah.
But once we got started moving, we were off that ship in 5 minutes, I believe.
We were delayed primarily. You had a few people that everybody else didn't recognize their importance, so when they come off the elevator, they immediately went to the front of the line instead of getting in the back of the line because they were so important.
Yeah.
They could have done better as far as directing them when they first come off the elevators.
Where the back of the
line is here, not you go to the
right.
front.
And that's what I'm saying. I think some queue lines, with like a sign that says "Enter here." I mean, something as simple as that would then force people that you have to start here. You can't, because what it was is everybody got off the elevators, and in the elevator lobby, a line just eventually formed out of that,
And the middle of the line was right where you got off the elevator. So as they got off, instead of going to the left to the back of the line, or to the right,
they just
to the back
jumped
of the line,
right on in and slowly funneled into one single line. So that could be reworked. I know how to use words. But other than that, guys, that is our recap. Overall, fantastic ship, even with it being straight out of dry dock. I did notice, like on the first day, I think I mentioned to him, like the floors were not waxed. They weren't buffed or anything. But slowly towards the end of the week, that started become clear. It was really unique sailing on a ship coming straight out of dry dock. And overall, I really like Glory. I can probably say with confidence we'll definitely be back. It was a great cruise. Great ship. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. We have a very big announcement coming next weekend. That's right. You're going to have some weekend videos for the next couple weeks, guys. Stay tuned for that. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you on Monday with the MSC Davina vlogs.
And like he said, one of our cruise directors said, bye. We said,
bye.